now?
Yeah, you're in the
Okay.
frame. Just stay in the frame. So hopefully the chair's in a good spot. All right, so this is our last pre-challenge video.
I'm so much taller than you.
Lower your thing.
I don't know how.
All right, we don't have enough time for this. This is why Erica plays center in men's
Yeah, that's
golf. So what we're going to do today, talk about a couple of brief things regarding the challenge. Just a couple of reminders. It is open to anyone. If you have a friend who does not do CrossFit, this is a great opportunity to do this. We've run a bunch of challenges in the past. We did not do one in all of 2021. Just thought with everything that was continuing to happen with restrictions, creating more restrictions was a bad idea. And so with this challenge, we're coming from a place of, we're not telling you or restricting you from anything.
Correct.
At all.
There's nothing off limits.
Right.
It's more,
We're creating,
add these things to your daily life.
so the first thing that we're doing, everyone who comes in gets 2 BIA readings, okay? The first BIA reading happens in the beginning. It sets our baseline data. That's gonna give you how many grams of protein you should be hitting at a minimum and how much ounces of liquid you should be hitting at a minimum.
Yes.
Notice we said liquid,
Right. Yeah.
not water.
Right. So it could be so.
So the only things we're not counting were alcohol and espresso.
Right. What about like a regular coffee?
That's fine.
Count that?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that first BIA needs to be done in that first week. So
Yes.
you have from the 3rd, well, we said the 1st. You can get your BIA starting on the 1st. You have until that following Saturday to get it in. It has to be done.
For the BIA reading, to make sure you get the most accurate reading, you should not have any caffeine that day up until that point. It's really within 12 hours, but so no caffeine that day.
Yep.
You should not have exercised already. You should not have eaten within the past 4 hours. And within that past 4 hours, you should consume around 30 ounces of liquid, okay, non-caffeinated. That's gonna give us a really good, really accurate reading, and you do that before and for the second one. So that's gonna give you your protein floor that we're recommending you hit. That's gonna give us our liquid floor that we recommend you hit. And then the other food requirement is 800 total grams
Of fruits and veggies.
vegetables
Yep.
daily.
6.5 hours of sleep.
Yep,
And your 5 workouts a week.
yes.
So
Those are ideally
Yep.
here.
So the 5 workouts, right? If you're here in Buffalo, they have to be here, right? If you're on vacation, ideally you're dropping into another CrossFit gym down there. We can count that. If you are somewhere that doesn't have a CrossFit gym,
We can get you some workouts to do with whatever equipment you have. And obviously all of this is on the Hummer system,
right?
right? And so,
The biggest thing I would say with like the working out is don't just go do something and then say, hey, can I count this? And then be upset if we say no. Just check with us beforehand of like, hey, I'm out of town. There's no CrossFit gym. I'm going to do these workouts. Would these count towards it? You know?
we're reasonable, but like we're managing a bunch of people. Let's keep it simple, straightforward.
Right. And so the people who don't already belong to the gym, if they want to do the challenge, the cost for them does include their 8 weeks of coming to the gym.
Yeah.
So that way they can get those workouts in.
And if you bring someone
try
in
CrossFit.
who isn't from the gym, we're giving you $100.
So if you bring 2 people who aren't from the gym, we are paying you to do the challenge.
Yeah, and then that doesn't even include if you win.
Right.
Right, so if you win right now, the prize is $1,000. Depending on how many people sign up, it can go up. Second and third prize will get some type of monetary prize as well. Again, it just depends on how many people. So that's like, this is the core of the program, right? Eat a certain amount of protein, eat a certain amount of fruits and vegetables, drink a certain amount of liquid, get 6.5 hours of sleep. That is not lay in bed for 6.5 hours, okay? If you don't have any tracking equipment, right, like a Whoop or a Fitbit or whatever, do your best. If you lay in bed for 6.5 hours and you got out of bed 6.5 hours later, like you probably didn't sleep for 6.5 hours completely. For most of us, I would say like 90% of the time that we're in bed is usually sleeping, like registered as sleeping. So, you know, give yourself a little bit of a buffer. And again, if you're a person who doesn't sleep anywhere near that, listen, the goals are to try and provide you long-term success. That's what we're looking for, sustainable things, okay? We will also have 8 other
like mini challenges.
So these are opportunities to get more points.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're one of those people, you had a bad week, whatever, okay? And these are little extras that we are going to work on. So each week there will be a different challenge that we will be presenting to you to help you just better yourself and create consistency. So yes, the money is a motivator to win, but really we are trying to create sustainable lifestyle habits. And by doing these 8 mini challenges, find things that work good for you. So E's got the list of those. We're going to go through each one of them.
So first up, and these aren't necessarily the order that we'll do them, but these are just the things. We have a mobility challenge. So we'll either, give you a couple moves that you should do, maybe a 5 to 10 minute mobility routine that you could do. Maybe we'll have you pick your own, but we'll do some sort of mobility for that week. Then we have reading or listening to an audiobook. So something that's more just, I'd say like for your mental health, something quiet that you can do for you. And we'll probably read X amount of pages or for a time or something like that.
Most of these extra challenges are not going to be super time consuming.
Right.
But it's like 10, 15 minutes in your day to, again, it'll be just like everything else, hit it 5 days a week to see, hey, do I find benefit out of this? Am I getting positive experiences from this? That's what we're looking for.
Then we have try 2 new fruits or 2 new veggies, or like 1 new fruit, 1 new veggie. So also just trying to help you expand on your nutrition. A lot of us, myself included, kind of eat the same things over and over. Even with like fruits and veggies, I have my like go-to ones, and then there's always that one thing in the store, like in the produce section, we're like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Don't try durian.
Yeah. So try something new. All right, that'll be
later.
One of the things. Yeah.
Not in the beginning.
Yeah. We have 1 week. We're going to ask you to do a random act of kindness. So do something nice for someone else, something unexpected. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like shovel your neighbor's driveway or something.
And with that, what we're going to ask is simply, did you do it or not? I don't want to see, it's not like to get the benefit of the pat on the back kind of thing. It's real simple. I don't care what it is. I don't care who it's for. Just it's going to be, yes, did I do it? No, I did not. We don't got to make a big deal about it, right? Because that kind of takes away from did we actually do something for someone else, and are we doing something to get praise? Okay.
Next up, we have accumulate 10,000 meters of walking. I think we said running, but no weight or ruck kind of thing. Just walking outside, maybe a slight run or something. Or we said 20,000 meters on a bike if you want to go for a bike ride. And so that's just accumulating throughout the week. So it's kind of our way of kind of encouraging you to get outside, be outdoors, do something in nature.
10,000 meters is 6.2 miles.
So it's not
crazy.
Right, I feel like 10,000 seems like a lot, but
it's less than a mile a day. If you did 5 days, it'd be 1.2 miles a day. So it's really not crazy. We'll try to pick a week for that where it's not super snowing.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we have practice mindfulness. So it's a little open-ended, right? It could be anything from meditating, journaling. Our biggest thing with that was something non-electronic. So not, I watched a movie, right? I know sometimes that can be relaxing for us, but this is something away from the TV, away from our tablets and phones and all of that stuff. And again, maybe going outside and doing a walk, maybe that is, mindfulness for you, and that's kind of your meditation, your therapy.
And the reason why something like that's open-ended is we want everybody to kind of find their thing. Because, if we say, hey, use an adult coloring book, and then you're the type of person who you start doing it and it makes you more stressed, that's not, we don't want to corner someone into, well, these are the only things you can do.
Right.
And so it's an opportunity for all of us to get a little better in touch with ourselves as to what are things that are calming, soothing, make us feel good, and again, have these tools in our tool belt so that when we're under periods of significant stress, we can fall back on these instead of the habits that got us into a position where we're this sucks and I need to change things significantly.
And then our last one is no caffeine within 12 hours of sleep, which I think that sounds easier than it will actually be for a lot of people.
I think it just depends on where you're at, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's something that I've been trying to do for a while, and the reason why we do this and we recommend this is caffeine is a drug and it has a half-life. So the half-life of a drug means how long it takes your body to process through half of it. And caffeine's half-life is about 12 hours. And so if we want to ensure or at least promote more restful sleep, that is where having that time is important. And so getting rid of coffee or energy drinks, that time is really going to be helpful. And again, it's an opportunity, oh, I can't go to bed. Well, why can't you go to bed? Are you having too many stimulants closer to bed? And so just addressing that and seeing how you respond with it. Like, again, it's a challenge. It's not meant to be easy. Just like the whole thing we're doing where some people are like, I can't eat 800 grams of fruits and vegetables. I'm like, yeah, you can. Like, you got no problem doing it.
Yeah.
You can eat half a loaf of fucking bread. You can eat 800 grams of fruits and vegetables. Like, it's not as crazy.
And I think 800, it just sounds like such a big number. And like, it kind of is. But once you start weighing and measuring those fruits and vegetables, you're going to get there a lot quicker than you think, right? It is just going to take some effort. And that's what this is meant to do, right? Make you more aware of your current habits and how we can improve those habits. And like, even with the caffeine, if you are someone who's very anxious, we should, maybe look at limiting how much caffeine we're taking in throughout the day, especially on days where you're feeling more anxious than others. Like, caffeine's not exactly gonna calm you down. It's not.
And so that was the last one?
Yeah, well, then I don't think it's a challenge thing. That's just, we're gonna do that on the last week.
Well, count how many of the other ones there were, because that might be the last one.
No, it was 8. Yeah, and that's 9.
Okay, and then on the last week, we're gonna issue an extra challenge of bring a friend. Okay, so, and again, Erica and I spent a good amount of time coming up with and discussing how we wanted to do this. And so, if you're like, well, can I do this as well? Can I make it more strict, right? Someone asked about fasting. If you would like to do that, and that is something that works for you, you are more than welcome to. If you want to make it paleo, you are more than welcome to make it more challenging. And I would say this, if the only reason you would do that is because of it's the challenge, then what's going to happen when this ends? Right? Like, my goal, Erica's goal with this is to provide you a framework that you can continue to operate within well beyond the challenge. And the point of the challenge is to show you the shift it will have within your life and create more positive experience for yourself. You have more energy, you recover better from working out, you're not as stiff and sore.
You feel better.
Good.
Yeah. We were talking before, before we've done the challenges, people like them, they work well, but a lot of times we have found that people are like, oh, when this is over, I can't wait to have XYZ, or I can't wait for this to be done. And then the challenge finishes, and then, maybe 6 months later, people are like, let's do another challenge. And so our goal here is to have you do things that are, yes, harder, right? It's still a challenge. We still want you to put that effort in and have to kind of work towards it, but do things that are then sustainable beyond the challenge and something you could see yourself doing for the rest of your life. Like, that's really what we're trying to do here. Even if it's just you keep up with the water or you keep up with the protein, right? Even if you take one thing away from this that you then do long term, that's a success. And not to say that maybe after certain weeks, you might look forward to doing something, but I don't want it to be like, oh, I can't wait for this to be over so I can have XYZ. You can still have XYZ during the challenge and still do all these other things, right? Like, you can eat your 800 grams of fruit and vegetables, get all your protein in, drink your water, work out that day, have a bowl of ice cream, and then sleep your 6.5 hours. You still did all of the things and still had something else that you enjoyed.
we're trying to help you incorporate living, right? You know, because sometimes in the past people would be like, "Oh, I really want to do a challenge, but like week 7, I'm doing a 3-day weekend."
Yeah.
And it's like, and?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, what? Like, we are going to reward in this challenge consistency. So like the baselines to hit minimum points is going to be, you know, 5 times, but the person who does it 6 or 7 on those things, they're going to accumulate more points, okay?
And so on the announcement board, on the cork board side, we're gonna have a poster board. Your name will be at the top, and then on the side, where we'll have all of the weeks broken down, and then there'll be a little box for each one of those, the 5 things, the extra, and then your total points. And you'll just mark for everything you did. So say 1 week you did everything but the sleep. So you would mark down, you know, your water, your food, your protein, all of that. You wouldn't mark down the sleep, and then how many points you get.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if we talk about the points. So it's 10 points every week that you do all of the things. But then for every week consecutive that you do it, you get an additional 5 points.
Yeah.
Is that how we're
So
doing it?
we're rewarding consistency. And the person who wins, because when we do the fat loss, we're not doing weight loss, right? Because it's easy to scam that. So we're doing fat loss, you get points for. Muscle gain, you get points for. Those are the things, it's going to be percentage based. So if you are a very large person, you're not going to get the complete benefit of that, right? Because it's going to be relative percentage. If you are a relatively small person, you are not going to be impossible to win, okay? The person who wins, guaranteed right now, is going to be the most consistent with all of the stuff that we are asking to do. That means they're showing up, they're getting the sleep, they're drinking the liquid, the protein, all of that stuff, and they're doing all of it. And that's going to be the person who wins. And if you are the person doing this that is only interested in winning and the money, you are going to end up stopping doing what we're doing, and you will be in a place looking for this again. The $1,000 doesn't mean shit. So, hate to burst your bubble, but that's the truth.
Right, and I'm hoping these are things that make you feel good, and then you take with you. And towards the end of the 8 weeks, these things just become habit.
Yeah.
You know, like in the beginning, it might seem harder, right? You're gonna have to like weigh out the fruits and veggies. You know, you might have to weigh out your protein, see where you're at, really pay attention to the liquid. But the more you do it, the more it'll just become second nature, and then you don't have to think about it as much, right? And kind of put as much effort into it, because this is just habit, right? To get those 6.5 hours, if you know, okay, I go to bed at this time, I wake up at this time, that's just what I do. You don't have to think about it as much.
You know, and if you're one of the people who like a lot of these things sound a little scary, or like I've never done this before, remember there's going to be a group of people doing this with you. Erica and I are probably going to be doing it. You know, I'm sure some of the other coaches will be doing it. You're going to have those people to ask questions from, you know, on the Hey QDA page, or just in our general social media. You can definitely do that and ask these questions, because if you're struggling with something, you're probably not the only person struggling with it. And it's when we think we're the only one, that's when it makes it a lot harder.
Right.
And so another one of the things that's going to be really cool coming out of this is that the last week of the challenge coincides with the beginning of the Open. So we're kind of rolling this into the Open. And so for those of you who don't know, the Open is the competitive season of CrossFit. They're doing another 3 weeks of workouts. And basically, if you come to the gym, you'll be doing the workouts, right? Like, so last year we did Friday Night Lights. It was a lot of fun. Probably going to do that again. We had some themes. It's going to be 3 weeks again this year. And so it's going to be really good if you're the type of person who's just like, man, my gymnastics could get better, which I think that's all of us. And so, you know, it's going to help with improving our gymnastics. It's going to help with our conditioning. And if we're doing it the right way, which we should be, it's not going to hurt your weightlifting.
Correct.
Right?
Right. It's going to make you're going to feel so good going into the Open. And even if you're someone who's like, I don't care about my score in the Open, I just do them to do them and have fun, like, that's great. We should be doing this to have fun.
No one hates doing a good job.
Right. You know, you're still doing this challenge leading into the Open is going to just set you up to perform so much better than, I think, even something that was strict and whatever, because then you're gonna think I have to be this strict all the time in order to perform this way, instead of looking at it like, oh, if I just add in these few habits, I can still live my life, do these things, and perform well, you know? And so, and even in the gym, we'll start, I think last year we did like Mondays were kind of like open prep type stuff, so we'll do that too and kind of get ready for it.
We're gonna have a baseline workout that we're gonna do that no one's gonna like.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun. But yeah, I mean, listen, if you have questions, you're not sure it's right for you, you're on the fence, whatever, I don't know what to tell you besides this is the best time to do it.
Yes.
Like, it's like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, the next best time is today.
Right.
And so, like, this will help do those things if you show up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's what you gotta do. So, any other words of wisdom? Things that people have asked about?
I think that's it. They asked about the fasting, the out of town workouts. But yeah.
Yeah. So sign up. If you're
Starts
not sure how to
Monday.
do it, starts on Monday. We'll get the BIA readings.
Mm-hmm.
Go back, listen through this video, the previous video. If you still have questions, concerns, please do not hesitate to shoot a message or ask us in class. And yeah, we're gonna make it happen.
All right.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right.
See ya. And then I just wheel out.